People are understanding something, are bringing peace in their lives. And you can be a part of the magic regardless of where you are. So here we are to talk about something very special. And I don't think that there is really any subject as special as life. Now, I want to tell you a few things because you're sitting there in your chairs. Everything is the way it is. It's fairly calm in this auditorium. But there's something going on. And what's really going on is quite outrageous. But you may not realize it. You're fairly still in your chairs. But what if I was to tell you that you're moving? Really fast. Really, really fast. A bullet travels at approximately 900 miles an hour. You're moving faster than that. You're spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. Doesn't feel like it, does it? And you are orbiting the sun at a spectacular speed of 67,062 miles an hour. Now believe me, 67,000 miles, give or take, what is 62 miles an hour between friends? So give or take 67,000 miles an hour, and you're whipping around the sun. Day and night. Nonstop. Now, some of you knew this, right? But there is nothing out there to give you a clue that this is what's happening. Everything feels pretty tranquil. People go to a nice, calm place, they look out, they go, wow, it's so serene, it's so beautiful, it's so tranquil here. When they're actually whipping around at 67,000 miles an hour. And people go to amusement parks and they sit in a chair and it goes around and around and people get excited. That's nothing. You are actually revolving at 1,040 miles an hour. And it's not just started. It's not like it just started. So I came from out there and I said, oh, you know what? This has been going on for a really long time. And so as these incredible forces leave us no clues to be able to understand that, so it is that when one speaks of that beauty that resides inside of you, there is no clue. There's nothing like if somebody says to you, by the way, there's the divine inside of you, that you go, oh yeah, I knew that, I saw that yesterday. When I was looking at the mirror, I just saw the divine kind of just pulse out and then go back in. No, you have no idea. And just because you don't have an idea doesn't mean that that's what's not happening. It is. To see this whipping around, turning, you would have to go in the outer space way out there so you could actually see this earth coming around the sun going whoosh. And to see that divinity that resides within inside of you, you would have to come very, very close to yourself. It is not necessarily in the clues that you will find the answer, but there is a reality. The reality, the deck of cards has been dealt out. You flip one, the first one, it has birth. You flip the last one, and it has death. The rest of the cards are blank. Absolutely blank. People say, how do you know? Because you're too afraid to pick them up. Status quo is the best thing. Some say the cards have been dealt out and it is already predetermined what is on every single card. I say no. And there's a lot other ones that join this voice. And I am joining the voices of those who have said exactly that. The rest of the cards are blank. But don't be afraid to look. It is up to you what you make of each one of the cards except for two. Except for two. You are. And you are because one day you were born. What was that like? Extremely, extremely simple. Extremely, extremely simple. You know what it is. And what is it? You were a mass, blood, guts, 70% water. You came out. Still a no-go. Still a no-go. And then you did something that changed your destiny forever. And what you did, you're still doing it. And you will keep doing it till the last card. You took a breath. And that was it. Nothing ever since has been the same. Because now you are alive. And you're still doing it. And so far you keep doing it, that's exactly what you will be, is alive. No clue to its power. Absolutely none. Just like no clue to the earth spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. No clue to it going around in an orbit of 67,000 miles an hour. I mean, my friends, that is not slow. I mean, you will get a ticket for driving 60 in a 55. I wonder if the police officer actually knows you're a speed demon. You're actually going 67,000 miles an hour. I would love for an officer to give me a ticket for going 67,000 miles an hour. Because that'll make a great little documentary about life. Got ticketed for speeding. In my life, in your life, the quintessential miracle exists. Just because we have an inability to see it, experience it, feel it, does not mean it is there. And having said that, you are quite capable of feeling that miracle in your life every single day. What does it take? There is a subtlety. There is a subtlety. We always assume when something is good, it's the big flashing lights, it's the big driving sound. But actually, if you want to feel what is within you, you are going to have to be very, very quiet. Do you know how to be quiet? Have you ever been quiet? See, for most of us, I didn't speak for 5 minutes. I was quiet. Something else was speaking. What about this? Have you been quiet? Are you really quiet? Are you really quiet? Are you quiet? Are you quiet? Do you feel quiet? I mean, you're not speaking, so you must be quiet. Our situation is very much akin to what this person wrote for their test answer. The question was, which is more important, the moon or the sun? And the answer given was the moon. Because the moon, the fellow said, at least gives us light at nighttime. Whilst the sun always shows up at daytime when it's not even needed. That's a real answer given on a test. Can you imagine this person's thought process? They haven't got a clue that you get daylight because of the sun. And of course it's hilarious. When I read that, I started laughing so hard you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was like, wow. And yet, in some way, is that what we think too? We look at this world, we look at ourselves, we look at our lives, and the first thing we do is we compare. How come that person is like that? How come I am not like that person? Oh, by the way, it goes both ways. Oh yeah, there are people who are looking at another person for want of being rich, or they're looking at a very spiritual person. Because a lot of people come to me sometimes and they say, oh, I wish I was like you. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to be like me? You have no clue who I am. You have no clue what goes on in my head. Why do you want to be like me? But that's it. Oh, you can talk about peace. I want to be like you. That's exactly the point. Peace is nothing to talk about. Peace is something that needs to be felt. Do you feel peace? Have you ever been quiet enough to feel peace? What if I was to tell you that peace does not come from somewhere else, it comes from within you, and right now it is within you. With all your problems, it is within you. You have heard advertised on television, question everything. I have a funny logical brain. My brain says, well, okay, question everything, but get an answer or not. Get an answer or not. Or just sit there and question everything. Why am I here? There's a good question. What was I in my last lifetime? There's a good question. What's going to happen to me after I die? There's a good question. These are the popular questions. So you got the answer for them or not? What was I in my previous lifetime? I got an answer for it. I was dirt. That's what they tell me. Ashes to ashes, dirt to dirt. So I must have been dirt. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. Because I look at the dirt and I go, wow. Dirt can talk. Dirt can laugh. Dirt can think. Dirt can imagine. Dirt can create. Yeah. Dirt can do that. Dirt can do that. Looking for miracles in your life? Do you know where to look? You want to see a miracle? You want to see a miracle? Not magic, miracle. A miracle. Then look at yourself. 70% water. That's what you are. And it walks. You get impressed every time somebody walks on water. Try this. Water is walking. Not on water. Water is working on land. Do you think that's a miracle? I mean, you see people walking every day. That's no miracle. I see that every day. So you see a miracle every day. You just didn't know how to recognize it. And I want you to start entertaining in your mind, in your thoughts, with a keen eye to look for all the miracles that are taking place all around you. Without jet engines, the earth is spinning and whizzing around the sun. Every year, the moon drifts away from the earth 3 millimeters. That's not much, but cumulative. It's on its own journey. And yet all of this has been brought together for you to exist. Do you realize the forces in action right now for you to exist? Not fall apart, for you to exist. It is nothing short of an extraordinary miracle. Have you ever been bored? Ever? How could you? How could you ever be bored? And all this stuff is going around and around and spinning and making and creating, and the world's biggest plumbing system. No, it really is. It extracts, its filtration and plumbing system, it extracts water from the ocean and sends it not just miles, thousands of miles, and as fresh water deposits it. And it works. And it's working all the time. And it's doing its thing. And if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be around. And it's there. And every time it rains, all it does is like, oh my God, it's raining. How inconvenient. Next time you see rain, it is a master plan in action. Next time you get wet, oh my God, I'm wet. You should be. You're 70% water. So what I'm trying to talk about here is how inconvenient all these things that we have mentally created for ourselves, when in actuality, there is an incredible convenience that the breath comes into you effortlessly and brings you the gift of life. A guitar, a string, and it is out of tune. And in that state, can it be played? Yes. It will follow all laws of physics, but it will sound better when it is in tune. When was the last time, my friends, you tuned your guitar? If your song doesn't sound so well, don't blame the song. Maybe it is your guitar that is out of tune. And without giving it a thought, you are playing and you're playing and you're playing. But no matter what you do, it doesn't sound good. I am here to encourage you to tune your guitar. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. All you have to know is what it should sound like when it is in tune. And turn the key and strum, 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 strum when it is in that harmony. Harmony. That's all. That's the solution to your problems. All of them. All of them. How big is your problem? How big? This big. Your problem cannot be bigger than this. This is the size. Next time you have a problem and you're overwhelmed, just go like this and go, that's my problem. That's how big it is. In you resides your problem, and in you resides the solution. Two are not separated. You are the coin, and you have two sides. That which is the problem, and that which is the solution. You cannot have one-sided coin. Two-sided. Ignorance is no big thing if you understand that the other side is knowledge. Emptiness is no big thing if you understand, and only if you understand, that the other side is fulfillment. Lies of the world are not a problem if you understand that the other side is the truth. The badness of this world is not a problem if you understand that there is a goodness on the other side. How do you suppose people who are locked up in jail, that's like the worst place, you know? It's like, with anything you can play lottery. There you don't play lottery because you know the time is kind of more or less fixed. And who is there? People on which the society has said, adios, we don't want you. We don't want you. I don't see that. I see human beings. Us. And inside of them, hidden, is a wealth of joy, regardless of the circumstances. Wealth of understanding, regardless of the circumstances. And indeed, happiness, regardless of the circumstances. The other day, I was talking to some people and I said, many times from a thought, just a thought, comes incredible manifestations of an idea. In this video that you just watched, what a thought to have peace in prisons. For over 46 years that I have been doing this, it never struck me to have that idea. Never. Never dawned on me to have an idea. What would it be like to have peace in prisons? So when I heard this gentleman say that, I was floored. Wow. You're not in prison, or that's what you think. You're free from nothing. You're free, right? No. Desperation touches you every single day. I've got to do this. 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 Today's Sunday. You know what has to happen tonight, right? You have to go to sleep early because tomorrow is Monday. That was a very half-hearted laugh. Because you know tomorrow is Monday. And there is no saying that goes, thank God it's Monday. It ends at Friday. And Monday will come. And you, just like a good little soldier, will get up and go on with what is expected of you. Not by you, but by everyone else. I'm a father, I have to do this. I'm a mother, I have to do this. And off you will go. And what will happen? So this is what will happen. The earth will whiz one more time at 67,000 miles an hour around the sun. It'll turn at 1,040 miles an hour to reveal the sun one more time on the horizon. And one more card would have flipped up from the deck. And will you have a part to play in what that card is? Or like the rest of the cards, you will just say, well, so it is. That's a decision you have to make. Can you do something about it? Yes. And that's called awakening. Whoever came up with the word awakening figured you were asleep. So that, let's see, awaken! That's it. Awaken. Ignorance? Ignoring. That's the root. Ignoring. You must have knowledge. Not doubt, but certainty. What are you dedicated to in your life? What are you dedicated to in your life? Because you are going to be dedicated regardless. If you're not dedicated, then you're dedicated to nothing, but you're still dedicated. What are you dedicated to? A glass can make water available to the thousands, but the integrity of the glass must be intact. Can't have a hole in it. There's 71 trillion gallons of water in the Pacific Ocean. And a pot with a hole in it can pass 71 trillion gallons of water and end up dry. A vessel with a hole in it can pass 71 trillion gallons of water and remain dry. First thing you must be dedicated to is the joy that dances in your heart. The first thing you need to be dedicated to is to be certain, not in doubt. To favor clarity in your life rather than confusion. To be dedicated to knowledge instead of ignorance. To be dedicated to being fulfilled rather than empty. And if you were dedicated to these, surely they will reward you by bringing you the most exquisite gift of peace, of joy, of understanding. Who doesn't want that in their lives? But we ignore. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Wait. What are we waiting for? Waiting, waiting, waiting. Reminds me of these three turtles. Papa turtle, Mama turtle, and the baby turtle. They all decided to go on a picnic. So the mama turtle made some sandwiches, and off they went. And they went, and they went, and they went, and they went. It wasn't very far, but they went, and they went, and they went, and they went, and they went. And they found a nice little spot, so they just spread out their little piece of cloth and put their picnic basket up, and they were going to have their picnic. When the daddy turtle noticed that Mama turtle hadn't packed the pickles. Mama turtle was very sorry. Papa turtle was upset because he was really looking forward to having his sandwiches with a bit of a pickle. So the Papa turtle said to the baby turtle, "Why don't you go back to the house and get the pickles?" And the baby turtle said, "No." And the daddy turtle said, "Why not?" And he said, "Well, because I know when I'm gone, you will eat my sandwich. So I don't want to go." And the daddy said, "Listen, we won't eat your sandwich. We promise. We promise, we promise, we promise. Now go back and get the pickle." So the baby turtle left. Being turtles, a day went by. 2 days went by. 3 days went by. 4 days went by. And no sign of the baby with the pickles. The daddy said, well, I don't know when he's going to be back. I'm hungry. So I think I'm going to have his sandwich. So he opened up the basket, took out the baby turtle's sandwich, and just as he was about to eat it, the baby turtle stepped out behind the rocks and said, I knew it. I knew it. We're waiting. We're waiting. Some of us are waiting for the earth to be destroyed. Really, I mean, seriously. 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 There are people on this planet Earth who are actually waiting for this thing to just go disintegrate. And I'm like, can you just not talk about that? I mean, it's not like, we're going to be able to hold our breath and jump onto some other planet where we'll be like, that took a while, but I'm here. Oh, yeah, where is the closest juice bar? I mean, do you have to rub it in? Then there are people who are waiting for the heavens to open. And I'm like, well, gee, how many thousands of years have you been waiting? Very persistent. I mean, goodness. Thousands and thousands of years hasn't happened, but we're like, it's going to happen. One of these days, those skies are just going to open up. Well, if it does, at this point in time, I would say if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Don't wait for it. Get on with your life. That'd be my little wisdom to it. I mean, just get on with finding the peace and finding the salvation and finding the divine within inside of you. Because if it opens and somebody comes down, at least you won't have any conflict of interest. Because you're looking for peace inside of you. I mean, okay, great, here. We're in sync. We're synchronized. But to be so out of sync, what were you doing all this time? Waiting. Like that turtle. I knew it. No. To move on in your life. Because that angel that you're expecting to come from the top has come, but not from the top, within you. Always was. You never were abandoned. You never were abandoned. And you will never be abandoned, regardless of what happens. Good times, bad times, right times, wrong times, joyful times, painful times. So far, the drum keeps playing here. This stage is occupied. And the show is on. And what is the drum? The drum that beats within you is the drum of this breath. And is it beating? If it is, nothing has been canceled. Show is afoot. The divine plays. The miracle happens every day. Every day. All around you. Everywhere. Can you imagine? 67,000 miles an hour and no breeze. It's like, I mean, your hair should be just gone by now. Everybody should be overheated. But such is not the case. There's people going to go skiing this winter. Nothing. No clue. But it is happening. That's what awareness is. A lot of people who get into the high spirituality, there's a lot of people ask me, is this spiritual, what you talk about? It's like, no. To me, it's just a question of one and zeros. That's all. Everything is a zero, except for you. You are the one. Get it? You are the one. You are the one. The one and the one, the one, and the rest, everything else is zero. Place it in front of the one, it doesn't do anything. Place it after the one, and you're rich. You have a 10 and 100 and 1,000 and 10,000 and 100,000, and just keep adding 3 more zeros, 3 more zeros, 3 more zeros, and a million, trillion, blah, blah, whatever. But you are the one. When you give priority to everything else, you remain one, nothing happens. But when you give priority to being fulfilled in your life, then comes all the zeros. It's no longer just one. It's 10, 20, 100, 100,000, million, trillion, everything else. Simple math. Simple math. You've been paying priority to the zeros, have you not? Have you not? Zeros. This is a zero. Here lies a simple answer. Why are you interested in what were you in your last lifetime? When if you are not interested in what you are in this lifetime. Because if in this lifetime you are qualified as the wanderer of what was in the last lifetime, what did you accomplish? The cards have been dealt out. There is one last card, and it's got something stamped on it, and it's going to happen. And I know you don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. And nobody wants it to happen, but it's going to happen. And should we wonder about it? No, it's going to happen. I mean, should you be concerned about it? No, it's going to happen. Without you doing anything, it's going to happen. So why be concerned? It's going to happen. What you should be concerned about is what you can change. And you can change ignorance to knowledge. Make that happen. The answers are within you. Come closer. If you don't know this, of what I am saying, the reason is you are so far from yourself, you do not see it. You know how that works? When you're far, far away, you see a lot more, but with less resolution. When you get closer, you may not see as much, but you see with a higher resolution. You can look at somebody far, far away, and you may know that there is a person. Then when they come closer and closer and closer, you might be able to say, oh, I know who that person is. They come closer and closer and closer and closer, and you can get them to a point where you can see the spinach on their teeth. That cannot happen a mile away. It only happens when you come closer and closer and closer and closer. If you do not know about what is your potential, if you do not know that inside of you are the answers, if you do not know that inside of you is the divine, if you do not know that inside of you is the miracle taking place all the time, you know why? Because you're so far away. Come close to yourself. And then you too will see. That's what Kabir said. Not one single being on the face of this earth is void of that divine. Not one single being is void of that divine. The issue is, the miracle is, the glory is to that being who has realized, felt, not believed. No, not believed. Oh, we have become believers. Boy, and isn't it nice to believe? I mean, isn't it just great to believe? Because then you're off the hook. You're off the hook. It's like somebody else packing your bags for you. You may not end up with what you want. But God, somebody else did it. So, it's like, okay, yeah, all right, thank you very much. That's what believing is. Somebody else, a stranger, packing your bags for you. And you can ask them, oh, did you pack everything? And the answer is, yeah. Your suitcase is full. Couldn't pack anything more. It's full, but is it full of what you want? This much distinction can only be accomplished if you know. and not believe. But boy, it is so nice to believe. Because then you don't have to know. Just believe, oh yeah, that's the way it is. What were you in your last life? Oh, I was an elephant. Oh yeah. That explains why I always try to eat with my nose. And then people get told this. People get told, yeah, you were an elephant in your lifetime. It's like, oh wow, you are so enlightened. No, there is no bulb lit. There is not even any wiring. There is no filament. At that point, the wheel is turning, but the hamster is dead. Oh, and then everybody is on about the Indian theory of karma. Karma. Oh, karma. Your karma, bad karma. And when did you do these karmas? Of course, in your last lifetime. What about yesterday? The theory of karma is not wrong. It has nothing to do with last lifetime. It has to do with what you did yesterday. You ate raw beans yesterday? You suffer the consequences today. Karma, absolutely, karma afoot. You will go to the doctor and you will say, my goodness, I haven't stopped. And the doctor will say, well, did you eat anything particularly? Yes, I had raw beans yesterday. Ah. Completely makes sense. What did you do yesterday? Did you prepare for today? Did you prepare for today? Did you? Or were you so not ready for today that you actually had to set an alarm clock? I know I'm not going to get up tomorrow. I better set an alarm clock, otherwise I'll oversleep. It's because you're tired. Tired of what? Doing the things you do. Just make one distinction is all I'm asking. Do that your heart wants to do. Just once. And what does the heart want? All it wants is to be fulfilled. That's all. Once in your life, be fulfilled. And it's so addicting, you would want it every single day. So people will say, so are you fulfilled every single day? Good question, huh? And I'll answer it. No. But I know I need to try. And there's something I can do. I can actually do that. Like you. Like me. We can do that. We can try. And of all things we try for, this one is the most fun. Because there is no waiting. The fruit is born instantly. Peace isn't something you commit a few actions and then you just wait and wait and wait and wait and you wait. Say, what are you waiting for? Oh, I'm waiting for that peace thing to happen, No, it's bam, it's there. So, I'm about done. You've heard enough for one evening. Because what you have just heard, by the way, you already knew. And I'm glad. That's how it should be. I'm here to remind you, not teach you. You know, of course you know, that you want to be fulfilled now. You know that. So I have not really said anything new, except 67,000 But you knew that too, right? Some of you absolutely knew that and, probably have more decimal numbers to add to it. But be fulfilled. Be fulfilled. And if nothing else, then take away one thing. And here it is. You are so fortunate to be alive. You should know this every single day, that you're fortunate. See, when I say it and you shake your head, it doesn't count. It should be automatic every day, every moment. You are so fortunate. And miracles are happening left and right. Be amazed. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And enjoy. Because I have not yet met anyone who didn't think that the playing of the last card came too soon. We have this curious misunderstanding that we will live forever. It's just not true. If you live for about 70 years, all you've got is 25,550 days. Oh my goodness, you don't have to do that kind of math. Even if you live for 100 years, that's only 36,600 days. It's not that much, 36,500 days. That's all it is. That's what you get. And it's coming. Don't let it cheat you. Be fulfilled before it comes. Every day. Dance because you have found that rhythm. Be in joy because you feel the joy emanating from within you. Be clear because you have accepted clarity in your life. Everything else, like I said, is a zero. Comes, goes, comes, goes, comes, goes, comes, goes, comes, goes, comes, goes. Don't let your coming and going be fruitless. Dirt it is, dirt it'll be again. That's what'll happen. Dirt it is, and dirt it will be again. And will this combination ever come back? Never. Never. Ever. Maybe part of this dirt will become an eggplant. Maybe this part of the dirt will become a tomato. This combination is not coming back. So you may as well play this instrument whilst you got it, because it's not going to be available again. And I'm talking about this instrument, this time, this life, this existence. This is a positive message, not a negative message. This is about you understanding, not going, I wonder why that happened to me. Because it did. It happened to you because it did. It didn't happen to somebody else. It happened to you because it did. Now, okay, you have control over the past. If you had control over the past, it wouldn't be called the past, would it? Past means past. What do you have control over? You have control over what happens today. Steer it. Make something happen. Make joy happen in your life. Make peace happen in your life. That's when peace comes, when there is that recognition and understanding within you. Like I said, I'm done. And I wish you all the best. Good evening and good night. Thank you.